All right, welcome back for another CBSI Hot 10 list. This will be our last Hot 10 list of the year. Make sure you go and check out the article over on comicbookinvest.com. And thank you for all the support since we took over the list earlier in the year. I will also be giving you a special little article and video covering the top 10 books for all of 2023, thanks to a reader suggestion. Seemed like a good idea. But before we get to that, make sure you comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Make sure you check out all the content we have here on the channel. And keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see our last list of the year, just hang out for a few seconds after the intro, and we will be right back.
Notable sales.
All right, our first notable sale.
We got Teen Titans number 14, classic Nick Party cover, 9.8. These covers are so hard to get a 9.8, and in this condition, it's sold for $22,400. Only two on the census at 9.8. These black lines are insane. I don't know how anyone kept this comic in this condition. It's ridiculous.
No idea. 22 grand though. Wow. All for the first appearance of the Gargoyle.
Gargoyle, right? You see a little bit of the DC was kept a little bit better than maybe some of its counterparts of the era. People were big fans of the stories inside also. But yeah, this is crazy. A 9.8 for
the black border all the way around, man. That's
yeah, it's tough, man.
Tough.
It's real tough.
That is a tough one.
But hey, it is what it is. We also had another oddball notable sale this week. Haven't seen this book in a little bit personally, but the photo cover for Black Widow #1 with Scarlett Johansson and her best wig sold for an all-time high of $1,040. Granted, that just eked over the previous high of $1,000 like a year ago, but still, high is a high. The asking price on this was actually like $1,800, so this was an accepted best offer. And the previous 9.8 that sold before this one, like a month or two ago, was only $600. So it's a healthy little jump in recent.
Do you know when this came out? That's a young Scarlet.
This edition, this is like the 2015, 2016 series.
Jeez.
I think. No, 2010. Right. Sorry.
2010. There he goes. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Wow,
2010 series. Yeah, this is from Iron Man 2.
Jeez, oh, Pete's, man. Iron Man 2, 13 years ago. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're all getting older.
The MCU is getting old.
Is this still
it was still an all-time high, so kind of jumped out at me for this week.
That's cool.
And with that, we can get into our main list.
Number 10.
Our first book.
Number 10, Daredevil. Number 7. This is first red suit. This might have to do with some of the news coming out about Daredevil coming back, going to be wearing the red suit. You know, you had the other 6 books before this had yellow suits. They're pretty cool. A lot of them still a little bit undervalued. This one didn't sell that much, even though it's first red suit. Like, it's actually not the easiest book out of these first 15 to sell. You do have some key books in there, such as Purple Man. You got, for some reason, people like Stilt Man too. But whatever. But this is his first red suit. That might be part of it. I'm glad, because it was a harder book to get rid of. So hopefully, you know.
Yeah, there was some like teaser stuff because Echo's coming out in only a few weeks. So there were some like snippets of Daredevil possibly being in there and some Born Again type stuff. So
you know what I don't understand? The Daredevil run here, especially in the first bunch of books, is really cool. Especially the yellow suit stuff, especially when he transfers it over to red. Has a lot of stuff with the Submariner and stuff, but never really as popular as I think it should have been, and especially how popular the character is in live action when we see him in the TV show and everything else. So maybe this rebirth of him, I guess, can we use the word rebirth, or is that trademarked by Aquaman? But maybe this rebirth of him on TV will help put him to the forefront, and we'll see some of these, you know, minor keys where he switches suits, or, you know, he's fighting Cap in the front, got the Kirby type covers, and it will do well. So like, you know what I'm saying, it's the over exaggeration.
I mean, well, this is the Daredevil everybody knows. Everybody knows the red suit. They don't know the yellow suit. They make fun of the yellow suit. They made fun of it when it showed up in the yellow suit in She-Hulk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the covers of the yellow suit are kind of funny too, because you're fighting the Enforcers or the Matador. I mean, like,
yeah.
Like, yo. So, but no, it's cool that these little minor keys are getting some pub. So,
all right. Well, let's see what we got next.
Number 9.
No, this is not exactly a repeat, but yes, this is Animal Pound #1, the Scotty Young cover, but this is the 1 per store cover that was sent out to shops, not the 1/100 black and white version of this. I mean, Scotty Young definitely still has his fans, and people will try to collect all the books that they can, but at the same time, all of these 1 per store type release books, they all typically do this, from the Street Fighter ones to the Marvel ones, whatever gets snuck out there. It's a safe bet that the shop's going to charge you 20 to 30 bucks on it, and then people start flipping these things on eBay once they get one for cheaper, or can have a good relationship with their shop owner and get it for free even. But yeah, this is another one that just pops up on the list.
There it is.
Yeah, Scotty Young,
the right cover. Yeah,
it's not bad. It's just in a version. I think it's the top of the book. It's unbalanced. Like it's missing trade dress. But
yeah.
What are you gonna do? Maybe that's just me doing all that. That should be a cover, work that I'm trying to think of a.
Oh, that you're doing tack every Wednesday?
I'm surprised at this point with Scotty Young that he's still going with how much. I mean, he pushes out a lot of product, and it's still, it just amazes me every time I see him. I do remember the Scotty Drought days. There was an early on, like Scotty push, and then years ago, kind of got flooded, and people start to tend away from him, and. It's good to see the resurgence, but wow, that guy puts out. I mean, he puts out. You've heard complaints about other artists putting out a lot of content, but he does, and
he
whatever it is, hits
JTC for the last decade. You can count on every new Marvel #1 having a Scotty Young cover and having a John Tyler Christopher action figure cover. And John Tyler Christopher took a break for a bit on the action figure covers, but I think he's back to doing them again.
Oh, good Lord! All right.
But with that said, all right, let's see what our next book is.
Number 8.
Number 8. Wolverine.
All new Wolverine 1. I get all the new suits today, do I? So listen, if you've been suffering through some of the Marvel books that they are releasing, there's a new series out there where it's got like every freaking Wolverine in that, including her. His 6 illegitimate kids, his 13 spawn children, whatever else it is. It's not a terrible book, mind you, but between that and rumors that she's going to probably show up in Deadpool, now the first appearance isn't on here, but the first time she's in her suit and has a series is, I guess, right? Is that what this is? First series?
Yeah, it's her first series. And
I mean, it's cheap, so people can go on it, and whatever.
Yeah, it's still selling, but
it's pricey.
It's still the same. It's kind of level. It's still about $1,980, and it's still about 5 to 10 copies every week, just kind of moving.
But this is like it kind of seems like a theme in Marvel now. It's going for. If you're an old Overstreet guy, you used to always read the Overstreets and be first appearance, second appearance, third appearance, first costume change, first team up. It seems like this is something that started to. You didn't get a ton of that pre-pandemic, but now you're starting to see the flow over. So first costume, I mean, $20 for which, I mean, months after this came out was just a bin diver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
20 sales, $20. Looks like it's something maybe people are interested in. Doesn't hurt too. That's a halfway decent cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
not too bad.
Jessica Jones on Netflix. Wow.
Really a long time ago.
You're reading advertisements on the cover.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
All right, let's see what we got next.
Number 7.
Oh, speaking of Echo.
Ooh, back on the list. Daredevil number 9. The David Mack cover. I love this cover. This is hitting the list because the interest in the Echo TV show, that trailer was fire. The new trailer was fire. Daredevil showing up. It's about Raws are back up to $60 to $70, about 20 sales from last week. And I just love this cover. Mac can do no wrong for me.
Yeah, we'll see another Mac on this list later. But yeah, that's 60 to 70. It was only $50 last week, so people are starting to get excited. I mean, we're only a couple weeks out. I think it's January 10th or 9th? Like we're 2 weeks away.
I know when it was announced that people were like, "Yeah, do we really need this?"
I was one
the
of
answer. The answer to the question is we probably don't, but we do, right? Like we need some new content. It's easily digestible. I don't think it's gonna be rocket science here. What's going on? So, and it's like an action flick, right? Like,
it doesn't look bad. Like I was one of the ones like, who needs this? Who wants Echo? Give me somebody else. But now that it's here, I want it. I want to see it.
You know, sometimes mindless violence and fun is all we need.
Yeah, that's all we need.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little bit of popcorn. You know, popcorn flick, popcorn show. Just don't do super slow-mo action there.
Oh, please don't do that. Jesus. Star flares and slow action. That's all he's got.
Oh, boy. With that said, let's move it on.
Number 6.
Batman. There he is, back on the list. Batman. So, Batman 609 is back here on the list because, once again, even though there weren't new rumors, we started getting those hush rumors again. And then before the week was out, James Gunn already put the kibosh on it saying, no. No rumor, no hush, no Professor Pig. None of these things are going to happen. Granted, take that also with a grain of salt.
That's a fake. He's faking us all. That means it really is. Listen, I read the tea leaves. I looked outside the star map with the chart of the things on the flat earth. And listen to me. It's all a lie. It's coming out. He's trying to, he actually wants to buy all these books and then resell it to us when it happens. So he's just like throwing us off the scent because his brother can't be the weasel anymore. Yeah. Look, I got a whole chart back here. It's like this everywhere. Yep.
I think his brother was playing Catwoman.
What?
No.
Or Hush. Yeah.
Oh boy. But either way, still got a couple dozen sales. And then Raw's actually back hitting $60 again out of nowhere for some reason. And 9/8 are still about $200. So yeah, I always thought 608 was like, you know, the book, but 609 is the one.
Yeah. Well, it's got the two chicks on the front. I mean, maybe two, you know, it's reminding people about how good of actual storyline this was. Like the Hush storyline is pretty darn good storyline. Maybe a lot of people too. That being said, because book one, the 608 was the book for a while, had that book and didn't have this book, and now they're hedging bets and getting a second book, or just remembering,
we should. So many of the 608. 608 was
there's a ton of 608s. I get it. Yep.
I mean, they gave it out in the New York Post.
Who knows? Who knows what the reason is? But here you go. It's got to be.
Don't you remember they got that one? I think it was the New York Post that had that free version of 608 that they gave away.
Yes.
Anyway.
Either way, there you go. That's what you get. You get Girls' Night Out.
Girls' Night Out. All right. I mentioned David Mack was also coming back on this list, so let's see what we got next.
Number 5.
There it is.
Ooh. So interesting, because if you thought that 1 in 100s was a lot, or 1 in 200s was a lot, Image decided this week, or Skybound decided this week to say, hold my drink, and they came out with a 1 in 250. The 1 in 250 sell for 300, 350, 400 for Duke's variant. It's got a little Baroness in there. If you didn't know who it was, they decided to write her name across her chest because, I mean, why not, I guess?
It's David Mack. That's what he does.
I get it. But it says Cobra, too, at the top. But they didn't do Duke across Duke's face.
It's on the trade dress.
Duke, Cobra, Baroness. I mean, like, whatever. Either way, you know, these crazy high ratios are always going to pique somebody's interest. You're going to get some sales. This one has. This is a multiple sales above the $300 and above range. So there you go. If you were in on this, the Duke 250, good for you. If you weren't, good for you.
It's just surprising because this is not the first time we've seen this high of a ratio. I mean, what was it? The Turtle Street Fighter. Turtle Street Fighter had 1 in 250s and 1 in 500s, but all of those sold under those ratio marks. This thing is actually above multiple times, which is why it is
right. But you put Baroness on it, and you know the rebirth of this whole G.I. Joe Transformer hit us in the nostalgia goodiness has really been motivating. We saw what it did with the Transformer books, which that wasn't anything new, right? So yeah, of course they capitalize on this, and of course, I mean, they didn't make a bad decision. They could have put Scarlet on there, though. No, maybe not right across the chest.
God bless who's ever out there shelling out $400 for a new release book, because I can't do it.
I'm not saying you should.
I'm not saying anybody should. I'm just saying I don't play like that. My
comment what happens, not what we do. Yeah.
That said, we got 4 left.
Number 4.
I like
At
it.
number 4, we got Green Arrow. Number 7, the 1 in 25, Jay Aniceto.
Don't ask me. I need Dub to help pronounce names.
Ancelito?
Ancelito?
Maybe.
I think that's it. I think that's actually how it's. Not that I'm supposed to be doing that, but I'm just going to put that out there for you guys.
Okay.
This is hitting about 10 sales this week. A high of 50 has slowly crept up from $14.99 to all the way up to 50 this week. This is a beautiful cover. I really love her on a motorcycle. Just saying. I don't know why, but really
Yeah.
appeals.
It's a nice cover. Like I said, I
Yeah.
like it. I dig it.
Yeah, this is good. I actually like
And-
this better than the 250. Just
Yeah.
saying.
I
But
love
I mean,
these minimal trade dress on these 1 in 25s.
it
Absolutely.
definitely
much
helps. Help the art stand out.
I do. Yeah, I think that I like it better too, and it does give a little bit of a. I don't know why. You know what book it is, but it does give you a little bit of reference to what the series is, which is nice because it had, you know what I mean. It gives you context for why the character's on there, which is good, and the art is nice.
This one, I'm
little
just
bit
gonna say, I
interesting
mean, this
hips.
one is suspiciously trending like our next book. So we're gonna move on from this number 4 to get to our next book because this one was one from last week that's looking a lot like this one.
Number 3.
Back on the list, we got Superman number 9, this Zerdy variant with no shoulder, as Marco pointed out.
Yeah,
Like
like
30
dog.
sales. Roars are selling 70 to 75. They were 50 last week.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful cover. I love this cover.
I just can't do the arm thing. It's weird. It's just out of place. It's kind of like the last one where you're looking at it.
get
There's
it.
like no like hip
Yeah.
line, which you're like, could you just put a hip line in there? But also, they're doing great faces. I know that's a weird thing to say, but they like the last book in this book. They're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, we got to give DC their
Faces.
credit. These DC incentives have been not bad. Like there's been a few that have hit kind of like this. They sell about a dozen the week of. They start hitting double ratio, and then look, this one a week after that is still gaining with 30 sales, and now it's up to 70, 75.
Yeah, geez.
Will that continue? I don't know, but it's definitely interesting to see that trend.
Keep your eye out for
market
those
with these.
DCs. Yeah.
You know, and like the last one, there are no B covers of these incentives. So it's either the 125 or bust.
True.
Yeah.
And let's also not act like this is rocket science. Like you get a good artist doing like a sexy girl on the cover, it's gonna sell. Like
but typically, I mean, but hold on. Typically, it's like bosom first, right?
True.
And this one maybe you can give a little bit defensive, but the last one you can't. Like they're usually, I mean, usually it's just 70% bosom in the picture and whatever else.
It always has to be in your face.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. They're doing more detail on like overall, so it's nice.
Yeah,
it's
just quality stuff coming out.
Quality stuff,
But all right, we got 2 left. Let's see what's next.
Number 2.
All right, my man Sinister is back. Love Sinister. The only thing that I wish though is they could have mashed up covers and had him at least in the shadow on the cover here. But
something.
About 60 sales, so it kind of jumped up again in sales. This book always does sell, but usually around like the 10-5 range. Now you got 60 sales in it. Like that's crazy. A new raw high of 130, and CGC 98s are regularly selling in the $300 range. If you can sneak one of those out there for the 265, which you can, I mean, you can still get them for like 275, maybe one sneak one out. 275, 265, cool. But for the most part, they're selling at 300. You know, we're getting 97. Hopefully we'll get a new Sinister. Hopefully they'll redo some of the Sinister storylines and make it a little bit more, I don't know, the Sinister we wanted instead of the Sinister we finally got.
Hey, I was still waiting for Sinister in live action, and we never got around to him. I was hoping.
Well, eventually, maybe one day we will.
So Apocalypse.
But always with the news of the Summers and everything else with the X-Men coming back, you have to, especially if it's variants of these kids, you know, of the X-Men, like, I know some people are like, oh, they're gonna make a female. Well, okay, you better get some Sinister stuff because that's who tinkers around a lot with the mutant genes.
Do a lot of the tinkering.
A lot of tinkering. That and Dark Beast.
People will still pay those premiums from newsstands, so keep an eye out for those. And then there's that second print. What's that weird one that's got that extra little bit on there, the classic or whatever. So that sells well too. Like even though it's a second, that also sells well. So keep an eye on all of them. Keep an eye on all of them. And that takes us back to our last book.
And our number 1.
And I say takes us back because, yeah, it's back. Beneath the trees where nobody sees. Just will not stop. I don't know what's causing this bump this week, but last week we had like 50 sales. Now we've got over 60. Not only that, this is no longer 20 to 30 bucks. This is averaging about $70 for that cover A, which Bruce pointed out is like the same as the one in 25. Like, that's weird. And then there's also a New York Comic-Con foil edition, the cover, which still dragging behind. And then one of these, the high of $100. I'm just surprised. Just surprised is all.
It's weird.
A lot of Christmas money being thrown around, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe people saw it at the $20 mark and thought it was undervalued at that point. You know, just putting it back in front of mine.
Yeah.
It's a cool cover. You know, the more I see it, the more I don't know, normalizing it.
It's there. And there's also the second print. And then there's the number 2 is also starting to move up. Maybe you'll see that on the outside looking in. I'm just saying.
Right. Plus, people actually like the series. I mean, so there's a bunch of stuff. You know, this could be the saga type scenario where people really enjoy the series. Some of them jumped on early. And then after that, people started going, oh, wow, this thing has popularity to it. So me too. You know, like it's like the lineup. What are you in line for? You don't know, but you're just standing in line because there's a line there. This could be that. And if it is, that's not a bad thing. So,
yeah, I don't know, but there it is. Finishing out the year on top once again, beneath the trees.
Independent. Look
nobody
at that.
sees.
IDW. Good for you.
Yeah. And with that, that's our list for the year. Like I said, I'm going to have a top 10 of all of 2023 coming sometime this weekend. And make sure you guys stick around right after this for Get Off My Lawn. The boys are also going to be looking at the best of 2023. And make sure you come back on Saturday for SNS, which we'll also be wrapping up the year. I'm going to join those guys this week for a little bit. And then Star Wars. I think you guys, you going live?
We're going. A lot of the boys want to go live. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
We'll see. It's up in the air. But either way, make sure you come back on Sunday for the Tales of the Dark Side show and all your Star Wars news and goodness. And with that, we'll see you all next year.
Happy New Year.